We are looking at Apocalyptic Shadow for the version 3.7 update. This one is entitled Instigation of the Locusts. So we got the bugs and we got Phantilia for the bosses. Let's take a look at the buffs, the bosses, some team talk, and we'll do a little demo. So to start, on the left-hand side, the kind of main buff thing when enemy targets with Steadfast Safeguard are weakness broken. So basically when you break the boss, dispels control state for all allies, and allies immediately take action and restore HP. All enemy targets take 15% more Memo Sprite skill damage and 25% more ultimate damage. So this is the buff or bonus that you get once you finally break the boss, which is in every Apocalyptic Shadow, and this particular time you are getting your HP restored, I would say minor damage bonus for Memo Sprites and your ultimate. So obviously it's going to favor Memo Sprite teams, which is basically Castress or Evernight, and to some extent Hyacine if you're playing her DPS. Not so much Aglaia, because Aglaia, most of her damage is coming from her and not the Memo Sprite. And, Trailblazer does not do a ton of damage themselves, so that's what you're looking at for that. And ultimate damage can be a lot of people. I immediately think of Saber and Acheron, maybe Fei Xiao. Probably wouldn't be great in this particular matchup, but those are some options. Not necessarily enough of a buff to build your whole team around, but we'll talk about the other buffs in a second. Okay, so moving over to the bosses, we've got the Swarm boss. This time we got the big one, the big blue guy. I can't remember his name right now. And this fight's not too different than most of the other boss fights, or really Apocalyptic Shadow in general, which is always the idea of you want to take out the little guys until you can break the big guy. And once you can break the big guy, focus on breaking the big guy. And that's kind of your main strategy. With the bugs in particular, you want to have a strong AoE team so that you're killing them all equally. But if for some reason you have to target specific ones, it's mostly try to target the ones with the fire weakness when they pop up, so that they don't stun you when they explode if you don't kill them fast enough. For this particular boss, there's also some mechanic where it's kind of actually disgusting if you read it. There's a lot of eggs and hormones and whatnot, but basically they just get stronger as time goes on, so kill them quickly. Get your AoE team out there and just blast the bugs as quickly as possible. So for the available buffs for this half, we've got the first one here, which is Brand of Anamnesis. I don't even know what that word is. At the start of the battle, when there are 2, 3, 4 remembrance characters in the team, increases the damage enemy targets received by 5%, 10%, 20% respectively. This effect also applies to all new enemies that enter combat. So that basically lines up with Evernight's buffs perfectly. Obviously, any of the other remembrance teams, like I mentioned, you could just run Castress with Evernight as you normally would. That's probably going to be your best bet to take advantage of that one. I'm personally, as you already saw, running the Evernight team because it's just let's have a little fun. Let's let Castress take a break. Second one is interesting. Hardened by Frost increases ice damage dealt by all ally targets by 50% and increases speed by 10%. I'm trying to figure out what their logic is on this one, because you could use it for it could benefit Evernight a little bit, although probably benefits more from the first bonus. I was also thinking of the Herda, but the Herda I think will benefit them more from the third bonus, as we'll see in a second. The increase in 10% also makes me think, is this supposed to be like the Cyrene shill buff? But I would never pick this just because I had Cyrene on my team. I don't know. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this bonus is more helpful than the first bonus for Evernight team with Cyrene. But it's just an interesting one. I'm trying to think of what... I mean, the only other ice character I can think of who's even competitive might be like Jinglu. Maybe I'm missing somebody, but I'm not sure why you would take that one, because if your top options are going to be the Herda or Evernight, I feel like Evernight would take the first one, and then the third one I think would be better for the Herda, which says Heroic Vanguard. After the character in position 1 in the team uses ultimate, increases their weakness break efficiency by 50% and increases crit damage by 50%, lasting for 1 turn. So there's probably more characters that this would work for, but I feel like the Herda in particular, as soon as she uses her ultimate, of course that action advances her and gives her enhanced skill, and that would mean you would be guaranteeing that her enhanced skill would be the thing that's getting the big buff here. So I don't know, that seems very appropriate for her. Of course, if you have like E2 like me, then you're not just using your enhanced skill after your ultimate, but in most scenarios, I don't know, she seems the most inclined to use this to me. But anyway, we're going to take the first buff because we've got the full Remembrance team, and that means everybody's going to benefit from that, even RMC and Cyrene, who don't do a ton of damage, but they'll get some damage out of it. As you'll see, Evernight, this is almost like a dual DPS Evernight Hyacine team, because Hyacine hits like a truck. So that'll be team 1. For side 2, we've got the Phantilia fight. And again, it's always, as always, it's with Apocalyptic Shadow. Take out the small enemies, take out her flowers to get it so that you can break her, and then break her when the opportunity opens up. There is a mechanic with the flowers themselves. I think it's on the first page. It might not have all the details here, or maybe it's in Phantilia's stuff here. But basically, the purple flowers will give you a break damage bonus, and the yellow flowers will give you a just general damage bonus. So depending on what team you're playing, if you're focusing on specific parts and not just AoE blasting everything, you might want to pick one or the other. Another interesting thing with this fight is you will have some opportunities to have your HP restored, both by, I think, when Phantilia changes forms, and in the second phase when you burst the flowers, you'll get HP back. So it is actually possible to go sustainless on this fight. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, because I don't know if it's going to help you clear that much faster. The slowdown here on this fight is trying to kill the flowers so that you can actually get to Phantilia, and more power is not really necessarily going to help you. It's often just more speed, but it is an option. I've done it with some of the break teams where that might be helpful, and that would, a sustainless break's always fun because you can run your main attacker like Firefly or Rappa, and then you run the full Ruan Mei Fugue Harmony Trailblazer all at once. So that's a possibility. So if we look at the buffs, the first one, Dire Straits. When ally targets deal damage to enemy targets afflicted by 3 dot states or more, increase weakness break efficiency by 50%. So there's your dot buff. They're continuing to keep those included. Dot not great at breaking to begin with, so I don't know. I guess if you're running, it's interesting because if you're running Kafka and Swan, you can break because there's no physical weakness, so Hyacine is not going to be good at breaking on this. I guess if you ran Hyacine's Kafka, Swan, and Ruan Mei sustainless, that might be an option, and Ruan Mei would help them break faster. So, I mean, it helps dot teams, but dot I don't feel like is usually great in Apocalyptic Shadow anyway. Stunning Remark is the break damage buff, so increase the weakness break damage received by all enemies by 50%, and additionally increases super break damage received by 20%. So this is going to be your traditional break team in Apocalyptic Shadow. You're probably going to do pretty good. I think my best run so far was with Firefly using this buff. And then finally, the third one, Sweeping Force, increases crit damage of all allies' basic attack and ultimate damage dealt by 30%, with an additional increase of 30% against enemies targets that are weakness broken. So this is a pretty good just general buff. I was trying to think of if there were any specific characters they were targeting, and I did think about Saber first because she uses the enhanced basic after her ultimate, and then of course her ultimate damage is her primary source of damage. That seems like the character kind of best suited to use it. Like if you were to say use Acheron never uses her basic attack or Fei Xiao or so I think it's kind of leaning towards Saber, or it's just like, hey, pick a character that either does most of their damage through their ultimate or most of the damage through their basic attack. So, somebody like Aglaya, for example, most of her damage counts as a basic attack. It's her enhanced basic, that kind of thing. So, interestingly, it does not include skill damage, and there are a lot of characters that most of their damage are skill damage, so this would not help them at all. But interesting buff. I'm going to go with Saber on that one, using that buff for the second half. Again, probably the best teams are going to be, of course, your caster's team in the first half, and probably a break team like Firefly in the second half. But I'm going to go with these teams to kind of mix up a little bit and have some fun. I know they're still pretty decent investment teams here. I will say one kind of weird curveball that I picked on the Saber team. So like the Evernight team's pretty standard, but the Saber team, I've got Robin. It's debatable depending on the fight whether you want to use Robin or Tribby. I'm picking Robin for the action advance. It works out better on this fight. Sunday is a given for Saber. But instead of Huo or another sustain, I have actually chosen to use Aventurine because he is pretty helpful in breaking the enemies in this fight because he does imaginary damage, and it's a lot of imaginary weakness in this fight, and it adds a little extra AoE to Saber's offense. And again, not for the damage so much as the breaking, but that's kind of the important part in Apocalyptic Shadow. Okay, so I think that covers everything. Let's go to the demo. Alright, so we got the Evernight squad. Stell is ruining the pink team. Well, I guess Stell has Mem, so, and my Stell has the Mem hat, so she's doing her best. Alright, so we're basically just gonna blast everything. As always, make sure Cyrene has a skill point to get her ult up as quickly as possible. That's very easy with this team because Evernight doesn't use any skill points. We're already popping bugs. Well, okay, yes, this is an example where you want to make sure you don't skill with Trailblazer. Make sure we have that skill point available. And this is like the fastest team to get your skill points up. Or to get Cyrene's ultimate up. Okay, we already got it. Not a lot of reason to wait on this one because it's just going to be the permanent buff for Evernight and for Stell. So order doesn't matter. We might as well just do it all right away. Okay, and then we're going to do Hyacine's ultimate first, then Evernight, and then we're going to hold Stell because we don't want to waste the percentage gain from her action advance. An underrated part of Cyrene's kit is that it does fill up like everything, including non-energy meters. Okay, so we're going to get the action advance from them. which is going to let us build some Memoria before we attack, which is nice. And then now we can use the ultimate. I haven't been paying attention to the damage numbers yet, but watch Hyacine's damage as well when her turn comes up. She almost hit 1 million on that one. Alright, we got the new Trailblazer Enhanced Basic, which is non-negligible damage. Of course, Evernight's the big one, so that's 2.7 million there. So with Cyrene now, once you've buffed Evernight and Stell, there's no reason to buff Hyacine, because she gets it automatically once the ultimate pops. And so her role is just to keep blasting at this point. And again, if you're using an AoE team, there's not a lot of strategy to this fight because you're just killing everything all at once. But if we had to, we'd be targeting the bug with the fire weakness right now. Okay. Yeah, sorry, there's just not a lot of exciting things to talk about in this fight at this stage. We're just gonna keep blasting. Someday I'm gonna keep farming better relics for Cyrene so she does a little bit more damage. Okay, so now when the bug's red like this, obviously you don't want to be attacking him until you break him again. Which should be soon. So keep killing the little guys until, there you go, he breaks. And we should be very close to done with this fight. Alright, I'm gonna skill so we can ult and maybe get the action advance. Oh, well, we didn't need it. Evernight's turn was next anyway. I probably could have waited on that. Might as well do Cyrene as well. Will this be enough after the Evernight ability? Yeah, there you go, Cyrene, hitting 800k. There we go. Okay, not bad. 1794. That's quite good, actually. Okay, so let's go to node 2. On to the Phantilia fight. Just want to stand here and appreciate Phantilia for a moment. Okay, get the Saber team online. So, like I said, you want to kill all the flowers, but if you want to prioritize, the purple flowers will give you a break bonus, and the yellow flowers will give you a general damage bonus. So I am going to kind of target the yellow flowers. I guess with Saber, your skill attack does have some targeting since it's blast. There's no point in targeting Phantilia right now because she can't be, her toughness can't be reduced. Alright. Now, I did my best to speed tune Now let me use Robin's ult. I did my best to speed tune Saber with Sunday, but some of the speed gets a little weird in this fight. We're going to have some awkward turns. There's probably some way to fix that, but I'm not going to play around with it that much. Okay, so there's the enhanced basic. Okay. So Fantilia is vulnerable. You can see Aventurine does contribute a decent amount in this fight as far as reducing toughness. So I don't think Saber's particularly good about it. I don't know what her toughness reduction value is on her ultimate. I'm guessing it's probably 20, but she'll get the job done. Okay. Do I need to skill with him? Not right now. It's fine. Oh, Robin's down already. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Sometimes I can't... It's hard to tell visually unless you look at the icons whether Saber is in her enhanced basic or she's just normal. I know it's because her sword's out. You can tell, but if I'm not looking closely... Okay. That should advance... Ah, I timed that wrong too. That's fine, but now Fantilia can take an ult while she's broken, which is going to do massive damage. Okay, I do want to skill because Saber has no shields. Okay, that should advance Saber to get her ultimate again. So I'll have ultimate on deck as soon as Fantilia is back up here. So that's helpful. Oh, right. Now we are in enhanced basic. As I'm tapping the skill button. Okay. So again, got to keep skilling with Aventurine because Saber had no shields. Oh, wow. Robin has like no ult charge. Oh, I messed up again because I didn't leave a skill point for Sunday. I am just struggling over here. Yep, I totally messed up my skill points. Okay, we should be fine, though. Yeah, it's fine. I've got all these shields. Okay, is that enough to advance Saber? Yes. Saber's weird, man. Because if you haven't played a lot of Saber, she has that little gray bar in her energy, or that gray energy, and when the gray hits the top, it'll advance her turn. But sometimes it's hard to tell if it actually is at the top or not, and it can mess up your planning sometimes. Okay, here we go. So we should be fine. You know, if our goal here is 1300 for Apocalyptic Shadow, we're at 14 right now. We'll be fine. Okay, here's one of those awkward turns where Saber's coming right after Sunday. But we do have Robin right here that we can just pop her right away. Okay, will this be enough? I think so. Yep, there we go. Okay. 1431 for 3431 total. Not bad. Gets us a total of 7225. More than enough to clear the 6600. So there you go. That was Apocalyptic Shadow for version 3.7. Hopefully that was a little helpful, or at least maybe entertaining. And we'll be back for the next one before we know it. So if you like this, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.